Hello and welcome to Soul Snacks, little videos about big ideas. The relation between money and happiness is an interesting one. I wanted to examine the scientific evidence to see what the reality was and what the practical implications were. A lot of religious and spiritual teachings have taught us that money does not buy happiness. On the other hand, you might have seen recent articles and research showing that this claim is just not true. So what's the reality? Let's dive in. This topic was introduced formally to me when I was pursuing my master's at the London School of Economics by a professor I adored called Luis Rayo, who taught us behavioral economics. He told us about the Easterlin Paradox. Well, what is the Easterlin Paradox? Richard Easterlin found in 1974 that as the incomes of countries rises, their happiness does not increase. The paradox states that at a point in time, happiness varies directly with income both among and within nations, but over time, happiness does not trend upwards as income continues to grow. Now, he was defining money as GDP per capita and happiness as subjective well-being. He did find that there were short-term positive impacts of increases in GDP per capita on happiness, but this effect did not hold in the long term. Several news articles at the time claimed that this proved that money does not buy happiness. But we need to hold on for just a second. Easterlin was showing correlation, not causality, because this was a cross-sectional study. Also, he was showing these effects at a macro country level. Let's go next to Kahneman and Deaton, writing in 2010. They wrote a paper called High Income Improves Evaluation of Life, but not emotional well-being. They explained that subjective well-being has two components. Emotional well-being refers to the emotional quality of an individual's everyday experience. The frequency and intensity of emotions and experiences such as joy, anger, happiness. Life evaluation refers to how well or badly an individual thinks their life is going on a best to worst scale. They found that when plotted against log income, life evaluation steadily rises. Emotional well-being also steadily rises, but there is no further progress beyond $75,000. So they are saying that money does not improve your emotional state above a certain income level. $75,000 in 2010 is about $90,000 in 2021 adjusted for inflation. In fact, life circumstances and your temperament are much greater determinants of your emotional state beyond that income threshold. If you've heard of hedonic adaptation, this makes a lot of sense. Human beings get used to changes, especially positive ones. No wonder the marginal utility of money diminishes as we get more of it. We've been talking about income, but what about total net worth or wealth? Donnelly et al. Found that millionaires with over $10 million in wealth were a teeny bit happier than poorer millionaires. They also found that people who made their money were much happier than those who inherited that wealth. The insights that I'm going to end this video on are by Dunn and Norton, who wrote a book called Happy Money, The Science of Happier Spending. They found that money can buy happiness, but it depends on how you spend it. They say that almost everywhere we look, we find that giving money away makes you happier than keeping it for yourself. For example, they gave 15 euros to people in a work setting and told them to spend it on themselves. They found that it made no difference to their happiness or productivity. Then they tried giving people 15 euros and told them to spend it on their teammates. They found that they performed so much better on their teams as a result. So, if you think that money can't buy happiness, you're not spending it right. The implication isn't that you should buy this product or that product to make yourself happier. It's that rather than thinking about which product to buy for yourself, you should try giving some of that money away. Dunn also says that it is important for us to see the joy or happiness that our money creates for another person. So, in summary, the link between money and happiness is a complex one. Up till a certain point that represents meeting our basic necessities, which is about $90,000 in 2021. In the US, there is a correlation between money and emotional well-being. Beyond this level, however, more money makes us believe that we are better off, but our emotional state does not change much. What has been established more tangibly is that giving away our money to other people makes us happier than spending it on ourselves. But we need to give it away in a way that makes us see the positive impact. Now, If happiness is our aim, it seems to stem much more from community, connection, and our relationships. Experiences rather than products seem to work here. See you next week.